Sometimes you realize that the lovers hate and the honest lying. Sometime you will find that the world you're living in is in disguise. You paid all your debts, you gave it your best. You swimming in praise, but you live afraid. Afraid of the slip and you're afraid of the fall. Afraid to think that you could lose it all. You're broken your love, you're broken your code. Took a step into a place you swore you'd never go, and now you're breaking a sweat. Bottom down with the threat. You might think it's hell, but it's not over yet. You spent your life always doing it right, but let yourself fall down today. It's not all gone from a single wrong. Accept your faults and learn your shame. Sometimes you realize that the lovers hate and the honest lying. Sometime you will find that the world you're living in is in disguise. Try yourself while you're sitting, crying, lying to yourself, but it's not okay. Tell the world your old self is dying while the man you are still breathing away. Living, loving, you're the man is always trying to be. Questioning your own spot in the sky, you're the only one that's still the bright to see. You spent your life always doing it right, but let yourself fall down today. It's not all gone from a single wrong. Accept your faults and learn your shame. Sometimes you realize that the lovers hate and the honest lying. Sometime you will find that the world you're living in is in disguise.
See, there's a point in everyone's life when they come to the realization that everyone is hiding something, whether it's pain, fear, regret, or simply the truth. And mostly it's from themselves.
You're chasing it all on minimal bets. I'm playing the game, always won by regret. A life that has haunted my chance of falling. The people who know you don't know you and all you were saying. I hope that I will think it's losing. If you can't just look the truth, then you'll be told when it's simple mistake and surround that the man you built up will start crumbling down. Sometimes you realize that the lovers hate and the honest lying. Sometime you will find that the world you're living in is in disguise. Feels like the weight of the world on me. It feels like I'm trapped around a wall of me. It feels like I'm regretting just where I've been. It feels like another day goes dripping away with the same feel of hate and disdain for another blame that you dropped on your back like a silent attack to everything that you feel when you lack. And the people around you fall in and call in to make sure you haven't fallen. Every day is a cost to relay of everyone in your life, and you're facing, are you okay? No, I'm not fine. Every second is a record of life. Live my life, never doing things right. And though I try to pay things the same, but I get it from myself, just ashamed of my own name. I look into the mirror and fear that what I see is the cause of another shit year. I hear that all the people think I'm living like a star, but life ain't easy when you hate who you are. Now the darkness comes to take me away again. It feels like the weight of the world on me. It feels like I'm trapped around a wall of me. It feels like I'm regretting just where I've been. It feels like drowning inside again. Hard to say who I really am. I got a closet full of thoughts that you wouldn't understand. Got an honest problem, and then even though I try, it all gets simple when I act like I'm blind. So I smile and laugh like I'm attacking every fact that I can't hold back anymore. Cause I'm sure that if it pours any deeper inside, I might find that the light disappears and it's leaving me blind. It's not okay, no person should be living this way. Questioning everything that they say and what a rain that the people really knew. What they choose to see, how hard it is to fight who you fight through. I need help, I'm sick and I know it, and I've gotten really good at making sure I don't show it. When people see me, they feel happy, and all I've ever wanted was to be the man they want me to be. Now the darkness comes to take me away twinge of fear coming up in my brain and feel the pain of saying that I'm going insane and everyone I see gets the heartbeat started. Everyone I meet feels like another target. I'm in love with the thought of bots crashing down and got the lust in my heart for them hitting the ground and this ain't a phase of craze, it's a total disease and I got my reasons, 'cause I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling twisted. I wasn't home before this feeling existed. So run my child, letting go I'm resistant. I never knew the wrong could feel so take a minute. Got a story of this world and the people living in it. In the back of your brain, got an inkling. You think it's what they're trying to stop, so you will let the method sink in. World is just keeping it bleak to tweak. You plug the leak of the freaks that make a song unique. You get down, falling into a mold of a bot that's not to only speak. What's fucking told? So don't act, keep your thoughts in the back. You're a machine, pristine, not meant to question what it really means. This is the norm, the way you were born. Nothing good ever came from people who are misinformed. So till your head not saying it's okay. This is how men live, same shit every day. Thinking it's not true, that line isn't you. Keep thinking and the only option is to execute mission.
Hello, everybody. My name is Callon, reporting on DSC-CastLIVE, and welcome to the DSC-Cast episode 13. More or less, it's gonna be a Star Wars special. I know we talk about Star Wars about at least once or twice every single podcast, but because all three of us are big Star Wars geeks, fans, all of the above, I decided to dedicate the majority of our podcast towards that. On top of that, we're also going to be talking about the last 4 episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the new Disney Plus show, featuring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan as their iconic roles in the MCU, Sam Wilson, aka The Falcon, and James Buchanan Barnes, aka Bucky, also known as the Winter Soldier, and their exploits regarding everything that happens after the blip, after Avengers Endgame. So, today's podcast is also going to feature some news regarding the potential future projects regarding DSC stuff, and we didn't get to talk about last week, because last week we saw all about Godzilla vs. Kong, because obvious reasons. But yeah, so, without further ado, let me transition us into our current overlay. I'm gonna also express a big thank you to, hold on, let me fix the counter here. There we go. So for the first time ever, we are starting on time, at 3:30 like we always do. Again, each week we're gonna do an hour and 15-minute podcast, so yeah, some topics to get through. Behind the scenes and behind our talking, you'll probably hear a little bit of 1551, the duo of Jeremy and Dewey from Boston, aka also from Austin, Texas, from the intermedia company Rooster Teeth, as well as Spencer Crew, a good friend of his from Newfoundland, Canada, who I've had the pleasure of being friends with for a little while myself, and I want to express a little bit of thank you to both Spencer and Jerry for allowing us to use their music for our streams. I'm gonna have to mute them so we can get into the actual stream, so their music, as awesome as it is, doesn't distract us from the stuff that we need to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up Discord, make sure everyone's ready to go. It looks like it. So I'm gonna unmute and deafen and let the guys introduce themselves, and we can get this show on the road. Hello, gentlemen. Can you all hear me all right? Hello? Anyone there? Hello? We are currently live. You guys can hear me. So. Yeah. Hello? Gag, I think you need to fix your mic. I'm gonna be quiet for a second so you guys can test your mics.
Can you hear me? There we go.
Alright, Tony, we can hear you fine. Dad, can you...
I think he's still muted.
He's not muted on my screen, he's just not talking at the moment, probably fixing his mic. Yes, Dad?
I'm in the car.
Oh, you're in the car. He's probably...
He's in the car.
Okay. So, gentlemen, today's podcast, the stream topics, which I unfortunately probably didn't get to y'all in time. Today's topics are going to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier, Star Wars going forward, as in the future Star Wars shows and movies and stuff like that, including spoilers regarding both of those topics. And towards the end of the stream, I will be talking about some of the ideas I have for the future of the DSC-Cast, maybe some DSC Minecraft stuff, who knows what streams. I'll get into that a little bit later. But, gentlemen, if you want to introduce yourselves to our chat, so everyone knows exactly who you are, and go.
Hey everyone, I'm Tony, also known as lan626. I occasionally do stuff on YouTube and stream every once in a blue moon, basically whenever I'm in the mood. Play Xbox and Nintendo mostly, and massive Star Wars, Legend of Zelda, and Doctor Who fan.
Alright, and Gag, you want to go ahead?
Well, I'm the dad, as everybody knows. I'm the dad to all the group. I am a very massive Star Wars fan, as Josh can contest to that.
Tony can't contest to that, because every time we go do an event, I send him pictures, so...
Well, I have a few more coming up here soon, so.
Yay, I got to spend time with my dad, woohoo!
We hope. It depends on my schedule.
Well, anyways, since, the first topic we're gonna breach today is gonna be, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We've been meaning to talk about it for the past 4 weeks, but now we've gone past 4 episodes, and we've only talked about the first, maybe a little bit of the second one. So let's, get into that, as soon as I can start the timer. Again, normal podcast, hour, 15-minute long, show, so we shall get into that in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so Falcon and Winter Soldier. How caught up are y'all on it? Are y'all all the way caught up, or?
I haven't watched the latest episode. The only episode that I saw was the one where we basically watched
This is the best episode.
I would say the best, but...
I fell asleep before I could even go and get that turned on for me.
Well,
so
you still had... Oh, yeah, you worked yesterday. You still had...
Yeah.
And, Tony's sleep schedule is almost as screwed up as mine. And that's saying something. So, I guess we won't get into too big spoilers for episode 4, unless Tony knows anything that happened in episode 4, because then we can actually get into some of the stuff about that. Tony, how much of episode 4 do you actually know from any spoilers or anything like that you know?
Hold on. I gotta do some stuff real quick.
Alright, well, yeah, as everyone knows, we have all day to do whatever we need to do here, so. Dag, are you using your data, or are you using your little Wi-Fi thing? Because you're cutting out a lot.
I'm using the data.
Okay, I don't know what you can do to fix that, if you can at all, but... Yeah.
I don't have Wi-Fi around me.
Oh, well. Okay, so, Tony is muted. I don't know if he can or can't hear us. If he's deafened or anything like that. But I guess since we missed 2 episodes in the last 2 weeks that we haven't talked about with Falcon Winter Soldier, I guess we can start by going into episode 3. With one of the most charismatic members of the cast, Mr. Daniel Bruhl, who plays Baron Zemo in The Falcon Winter Soldier, reprising his role from Captain America Civil War, in which he tore the Avengers apart, which led to their eventual downfall in Avengers Infinity War. Which, in a way, I guess we can blame him for Endgame, because had it not been for him, we wouldn't have gotten Endgame. So, I mean, everyone talks about how bad Star-Lord screwed up, but, I mean, none of that would have happened if the Avengers weren't broken up the way they were.
I think it still would have happened, just been different.
Yeah.
Because I think Thanos was going to get to it no matter what.
We never know. I just like to see how... I just like the fact that Civil War was the first movie in Phase 3, and it set up everything going forward in that phase. Because one hit after the other. The only movie it didn't really influence in that area was the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because in a way it influenced, it didn't really influence Thor Ragnarok either, or Doctor Strange. No, that was on the other side of, well, the planet and the galaxy with that, but, anyways, Baron Zemo, very charismatic. I love him because, I mean, he's not what I would expect with a Marvel, I guess, anti-hero at this point. Because, I mean, sure, he was a bad guy in Civil War, but so far, he hasn't done anything Loki probably hasn't done, so I don't know anymore. Thoughts, guys?
Well, just off that one episode that I saw.
Well, what I can say from what I've seen, and without giving a spoiler to Tony, I will say there's more to him than what he's letting on.
It's the same with every character, though.
No, but he knows more what's going on. I have a feeling that it's going to end up to where he's the mastermind behind all.
I don't think he's the power broker. I feel like the power broker is going to be the big bag of the actual show. Like, he's going to be like the Thanos or something. Who knows? He might not... I mean, so far, they've been setting up a fight between the power broker and the Flag Smashers all season. So, I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. But it just looks like that's eventually going to happen. So I don't think he's the power broker. I have a feeling that he's playing a bigger role than the show is giving us. But I don't think he's that big of a role. Because, I mean, sure, he knows what the hell he's doing, but he's playing from the shadows like he was in Civil War. He wasn't up front. He wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna let this stuff play out. I'll change my plan accordingly. Like, he's not the physical villain, he's the mental villain. He, in some cases, literally gets in your head. As Bucky can probably attest.
Yeah, well, look at his past, Josh. he is a very skilled assassin, very skilled soldier. He's very rich.
Mm-hmm.
He all there is to know about the Winter Soldier program.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair,
Who's to say
a lot of that info was leaked in Captain America 2 after all the
Yes.
Shield's info was released. So he probably studied everything regarding the Avengers after what happened in Sokovia, after what happened in Age of Ultron. But go on.
Yes. But look at all the facts there. He's got power. He knows a ton of people
Mm-hmm.
because everywhere he knows somebody there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he may not be the actual expert himself, but he knows who it is.
I mean, there's a lot of people here who actually know who the Power Broker is. I mean, even in the comics, the Power Broker was not big, which makes it kind of weird to think about how they're going about it in the show, because in the show they're teaching him as some big reveal compared to the comics where he was just a guy, I guess. He wasn't very important in the overall storyline in the comics. Unless, Tony, you want to interject or something?
I don't know. You pretty much have him kind of down to a T.
So,
really anything special that I can recall from that.
So, it's obvious that this Power Broker is going to be some big reveal. I feel like, see, the difference between WandaVision and this show is that WandaVision was more or less contained to the mystical era of, mystical side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Wanda being a witch and everything. Well,
this is more tactical, more grounded.
I would say
with super soldiers and stuff like that, military based.
I would go so far as to say like a Falcon and Winter Soldier is the more realistic out of most of the shows or movies.
I mean, aside from the fact that there's a guy wearing a jetpack with no real like oxygen while flying at some pretty great heights and speeds, so not as realistic. But as I was saying, more along the lines of like tactical and militaristic, with the fact that they're basically doing like undercover espionage type stuff, and not a blatant going and guns blazing constantly. They're trying to keep themselves from the previous episode. They're trying to keep themselves kind of on a low-key type deal, but not like, you know, hey, we're gonna go in with like a whole bunch of backup, and we're gonna go and do all this shit and basically put ourselves out there, like a real military, realistically probably would have done to go and do what they're doing.
You're not advertising what you're doing, essentially. I mean, you're keeping to the dark.
That's why militaristic and tactical with keeping things on the down low.
Right. I mean, I understand that. Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
That goes along with what I'm saying with Zemo. We don't know what his true intentions are and who he truly is there. Because they are keeping kind of quiet.
In a way, I mean, his intentions are fairly obvious. I mean, his intentions have been obvious in Civil War. He doesn't want superheroes in the world because anyone who has that power can either be amazing, heroic, or corrupted. It goes back to you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. If you want to go with the Batman route or Dark Knight route. But that's basically his psychology on matters regarding superheroes and the Avengers. granted, it's all skewed because of everything that happened in Sokovia and Age of Ultron, and eventually what happened
Yes,
with.
we do get all that. But I still think that there is more to him than what he's letting on.
I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm saying is that his motives are a lot easier to decipher compared to other villains in the show, in the movies.
I'd really like to think that they would do, and I highly doubt they would do it, is MODOK. I'd like to see if MODOK, they decide to actually throw MODOK into the DCEU.
I'm sorry, no, what?
MODOK.
I know MODOK, but the what?
DCEU. The MCU. Oh my god, I'm tired. Shut up.
I can tease you as
I'm
much
also
as I want,
trying to. I'm trying to also do some other stuff functionality wise. So I'm sorry. Kind of going back and forth between talking to you guys and trying to actually get the episode in at the same time.
Right. Well, anyways, I mean, I love Zemo. I love how charismatic he is. I love how he's like, I'm just gonna see how it all happens. Just to sit back, watch everything unfold. Do some stuff here and there behind the scenes, but
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, like Dad's saying here, it's like he has ulterior motives, which I mean,
Exactly.
anytime you bring a supervillain out of jail, he's gonna have ulterior motives.
And he really has shown that. He's shown that he's willing to work with them, but yet he's still doing his own thing on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm thinking he may have something else to do with it than what people are letting on.
But I think we can all agree here that he is not the main bad guy
Yet. We don't know how it's going to end up yet.
For all we know, he could technically be working everyone for his own ends.
He has ulterior motives, yeah.
He's more of a man who lives by the end justifies the means. If you really look at him.
Yeah. See, the thing with Zemo is that I can tell. I mean, of course he has ulterior motives and everything. I can understand that, but he doesn't feel like he's a true big bad. He's not the biggest fish in the sea.
But Josh, you gotta look. He can also be trying to play them to find out information on what's going on.
True.
Because if you look at it, he broke away, and he did stuff.
And spoiler, at this point he has left the group. He has abandoned Sam and Bucky. He's gone. He hightailed it. He's gone.
At this moment,
At the
we don't get back or not.
Right.
I mean, even in the last episode, third episode, he had his own little things that he went off and did. They lost him a couple times.
Right.
And he always seemed to come back.
Right.
I mean, he knows that people were after him. He knows that.
To be fair, during that episode, he didn't know that Dora Milaje was after his ass.
Well, okay, I wasn't going to spoil that part.
He already knows that Dora Milaje is after his ass after the end of that episode. At the end of episode 3.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not getting into episode 4 stuff unless Sony wants me to say any of that stuff. I'm not getting into that. All I'm gonna say is that there's some shit that goes down in episode 4 that telling you gotta watch before. Episode 4 has some major shit. But to get back to my point of who the real villain is here, I don't feel like Zemo's big bad. That's my personal belief. I don't think he's the big bad of the show. I think he's going to play a larger part in the future of the MCU, or in a future phase, but I don't think he is the big bad of the show. I also don't think it's John Walker, who me and Dad know went off the deep end. Hard. Like, dove into a 3-foot deep pool and came out the other side. That's how bad he... I'm not gonna say anything else about that. He definitely went off the deep end. And the deep end was 3 foot deep. As my grandmother rightfully says, the new Captain America is an asshole. That is word for word what she said. And I am very inclined to agree with her. So, thoughts, Tony, I guess, since Dad decided to leave?
Thoughts on what? I'm sorry. As I said, I'm trying to get the next episode in at the same time.
Dude, just wait. just freaking wait. I mean, we only have...
You're gonna keep talking about the... You continue
Okay,
about the
okay,
next
I'm talking...
episode.
Okay, your opinions on John Walker.
Oh, my opinions on John Walker?
In regards to his character in the show, mixed with how he's portrayed in the comics, and all that.
Okay, well, so far, how he's been portrayed in the show is almost to an exact T with how his comic portrayal is. Aside from the fact that they decided to give him his... they decided to give him his other costume first, instead of having him basically use the exact same costume as Captain America.
He's U.S.
so-
agent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So aside from the fact that he hasn't been redubbed as the U.S. agent first, still makes me seem like there's going to be some more things that are going to be happening in the show if they do decide to go and call him the U.S. agent, or if he decides to redub himself as that. But
After
due-
watching the
due to
the fourth
what
episode, I will go ahead and say that there's a very
No
low
spoilers.
probability. There's gonna be a very low probability of him making it out alive. He doesn't die during the episode, but after his actions in episode 4 make it make me think really hard about how he may not make it out of the season alive at this point.
now you're going, and again, this is still in spoiler territory, dude.
I'm not saying explicitly he doesn't die. I'm not saying anything
Well,
explicit.
that-
I'm just saying
as
that
I
he
said,
does something in this episode that
As I said, though, I don't like spoilers, even if it involves someone may or may not dying. That's still throwing a spoiler, and it's gonna make me think, okay, so some bullshit's gonna happen that he's gonna cause or he's gonna be a part of, and it's gonna make me think, okay, so all this other shit that's gonna be happening afterwards is because of this, which is already spoiled. Because of, you know. But even still, I highly doubt they're just gonna go off and straight up just have John Walker get killed before the end of the series. In my opinion, what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna make it seem like he's gonna die, but he's not gonna die, and we're gonna have him part of the Secret Wars, and in
right,
place
you
of
got
Captain America.
you got Secret
John-
Invasion happening.
Yeah, the Secret Invasion, Secret Wars stuff. In my opinion, he's still going to be sticking around for that, and he's probably going to wind up in place of Cap for Secret Wars and Secret Invasion stuff.
We'll
Because you
have to
can't just
see
have
later
Secret
on, maybe even next year when Secret Invasion begins filming or anything like that. Because, I mean, we still have like 4 or 5 more Marvel shows to get through
Yeah.
before the end of the year.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that, but you got to think that if they want Secret Invasion and Secret Wars to be a hard-hitting movie and or small franchise series like how we have on with Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision right now, they're gonna have to keep him alive and or bring in a replacement for Chris Evans as Captain America and have it be like a different world version of Captain America or something, because he still has a major role in that. Same thing with Tony Stark. They're gonna have to do something to go and bring Tony back.
I mean,
It's
they got Ironheart. They got.
Well, Ironheart's not gonna be affected as much by both Secret Wars and Secret Invasion.
This isn't gonna be your secret. This isn't gonna be the Secret Wars that you're talking about. There's no.
No, as I'm saying, it's not gonna. With the Multiverse of Madness that's gonna be coming out, they're gonna try to bring out different people from quote unquote different realities of different Earths and whatnot, allowing for a different Tony Stark and a different Captain America to be there.
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't even know what's going on in the Multiverse of Madness yet. All we know is that Wanda's gonna be a part of it. The core Doctor Strange cast is gonna be a part of it. So
we're all in Marvel Zombies.
That's not more. That's gonna be in What If, you numbskull. That's Marvel Zombies is not canon to the MCU. It's canon to the freaking What If timeline. So there's no reason to mention it. There's literally none. No reason why to mention Marvel Zombies when What If hasn't even come out yet, and so much more. And there's so much more this year that they haven't come out with that you gotta get through first. Like they got 2 more episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier. You got Black Widow coming out in July. You got Loki coming out in June. You got Shang-Chi coming out, I believe, September or August at this point. You got freaking Eternals coming out in November. You got Spider-Man 3 coming out in December. You got Miss Marvel, Hawkeye. You got all this MCU content coming out between now and the end of the year, depending on the pandemic, of course, that we got so much that we have to get through before we can even get an idea what's going to happen in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness when that movie comes out next May. So we got so much down the road that we got to get through first. So again, create your speculation and all, but we got so much to get through before then. So if there's one thing I've learned is that don't.
I think you're going and dropping my own speculation by going and telling me that this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. You're not allowing me to have a speculation whatsoever.
It's not that. It's just I highly doubt they'll do Marvel Zombies and Multiverse of Madness. If they do, great.
No, there isn't going to be like a massive, huge scene for it. It's going to be, it probably would be maybe a short glimpse as they're traveling through the multiverse. It's not. I highly doubt it's going to be an actual full-fledged thing, which is why I would think that Multiverse of Madness would show possibly just a little bit of that universe with the zombies, and thus the What If would have the full, hey, this is, how you saw what happened in Multiverse of Madness, small glimpse of a zombie world. This is what would happen if you actually sat there and saw the full thing take place.
Well,
You
in
would see the full
in
thing.
any case, we are getting very off topic here because I mean, we're going a whole year into the MCU that we haven't even that we haven't even gotten to. We haven't even gotten glimpses of anything after Black Widow, or
I know, but
so.
as I was trying to state before you had me go off on a completely different rampage of thought process, uh, they're not just going to leave the main two of those parts out. Yes, we're going to have an Ironheart. We understand that. Everyone does. But it's not going to be a massive key factor of, if Ironheart can have
You
a
you misunderstand what I'm trying to say.
you're
If
going.
they recast Captain America and Iron Man and for Multiverse of Madness and everything, all the power to them. But I don't believe that's what they're doing. So far, they've been setting up like the next Avengers, the future Avengers, the young Avengers, and everything. The way I see it is like they're trying to get away from the original cast. Because I mean, sure, they
I
can do.
as I was trying to say, yes, we're gonna have the next Avengers and whatnot, but if they do bring those people back, and I've been saying if this entire time, they would go and replace them with probably younger actors and whatnot, and thus would allow us to go and have them kind of be there as like mentors from different dimensions for all we know. This is what I was trying to get at the entire time before you continued on and kept trying to stop me from saying what I was trying to say. I don't think they're going to go and just let them permanently stay dead. Because Marvel has always had the issue of, okay, if you go and get rid of these characters permanently, they've had tons and tons of backlash, which is why there's always been things like that Spider-Man comic of One More Day, where in the future he's gone in that comic series. He's gone because he already got married to Mary Jane. They had a fantastic wedding and whatnot. He's gone through all this life. He was a full-fledged man all on his own, and he gives all that up because the fans are like, we want to see Spider-Man back to being, what he was, because all this other stuff's kind of BS. And it's like, okay, well, fuck, we'll just go and create a new status quo. We're gonna have Aunt May die, and he'll make a deal with Mephisto,
And one of the worst storylines of all time.
The absolute worst, yes, the absolute worst storylines ever. And so they're like, well, fuck, we're gonna change it up now, and we're gonna keep the status quo from that, but we're gonna make things completely different about it. And then they had the whole Superior Spider-Man line, where Doc Ock was taking control of Peter Parker's body and made his life even better. And then somehow people were like, "Oh, we're getting tired of Doc Ock being, Peter Parker, basically." So they listened to the fans and were like, "Okay, we'll somehow get rid of Doc in that body. We'll bring Doc back as a clone of Peter, or not of Peter, of himself, but younger, more fit, kind of like a better version of how Doc Ock should have been." And then they're like, "Okay, that," and then people are like, "Oh, we're getting tired of this. We want it back to the original status quo." Made Peter lose his entire empire that Doc Ock gave him, basically, and made him a bum, and he bummed it up with one of his old friends and whatnot. And they did the same thing with Tony Stark multiple times. The extremist part, everyone loved the beginning of it, and the middle kind of just felt to some of them. And then they're like, "Okay, well, we want regular Tony back. We want the original status quo." that story got dropped basically.
I get
While
the
it-
point you're making here. I
so
understand.
that's
I,
why
y-
Marvel's not going to just leave them like that. They're going to come up with a different
so
thing.
what do you suggest they do with with Black Panther then? Because they've already come out and said that they are not going to recast the role to anyone else. No. They're probably going to pass the title on to like Shuri or whatever. But the but Chadwick Boseman cannot be.
Already, all of the other fans have already agreed that Shuri going and taking up the mantle of Black Panther,
Okay,
which is in the comics, it should happen. They're not going to want to have anyone else besides Chadwick Boseman. Fans loved how Chadwick Boseman portrayed T'Challa.
all all I'm trying to get across is that to me it sounds like that you want the best version of Secret Wars and Secret Invasion you could possibly get, where you have all the original Avengers back in.
No. I'm not saying all
That's
of them.
what
I'm just
that's what's
saying
coming
you
across.
have at least those two back.
To me, I feel like it's a good idea to let to move on from Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man and go into the future of MCU, like the future adventures and stuff like that. I think that's a good idea. Granted, I understand where you're coming from with alternate versions of the multiverse heroes coming in to be mentors to them, but I don't feel like that will get across because no one can live up to Chris Evans. No one's gonna be able to live up to Robert Downey Jr.
I know.
Can't. So,
Which is why I said if they have like a due to the multiverse of madness, it's going to be just not major roles of them being part of it. They will be there. It's just not going to be as major as how Chris Evans pulled it off, as how Robert Downey Jr. pulled off the characters. But the issue is, as well, is once Marvel fucks up again, and you know it may happen soon, it may not happen. For all we know,
they've been on a fairly good track record since Phase 2. I'm just saying.
I know, but what I'm saying is I got a feeling that something will happen, and then will anger the fans, and sales will drop, and they're gonna have to do something major in order to go and bring their sales back up. Which is why I'm thinking if they do anything, they're gonna have some way to have the major hits back, except for
Exactly.
all
Rest in peace, King.
all the fans have agreed that they would rather see Shuri play as Black Panther.
Right. I agree. I'm entirely happy about that, but I think we're getting very off topic here.
It's not off topic. It's basically the same topic.
No, we're getting very off topic. We're supposed to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and now we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 5 to 10 years at this point. So
again, I don't feel like we're off topic, especially with the fact that you had gone and said that John Walker may not continue to be in here, and by the end of the series, he may or may not survive, and he may or may not die.
I was talking about the show, not the future. And I appreciate you bringing up the idea of the future shows, but it's not the topic.
It's still the same topic. Why would they want to go and get rid of him?
Because the dude's an
Use him for
asshole.
future stuff. Yes, he's an asshole, but that's part of his character.
Tony,
And
after
if-
you watch this, after you watch the ending,
don't have him go through what he's going through or other things, he won't become the USA agent, and he won't become basically the murder hobo Captain America that he is in the comics.
there's no guarantee he will eat either way. All I'm saying is that so far, this dude has done nothing but make me want Bucky to just make him wish he was dead.
See,
Because there's a lot of stuff that's happened so far.
Disney and Marvel are not going to go and do exactly what you want. They have plans for him, which means that something's going to happen whether or not you like it or not. He may survive. He may go off and do his own thing, which is why I was dragging us away from that and trying to point things to where he could be in. Like, he could be in Secret Invasion and stuff like that. Which is why we got off topic in the first place. Which is why I was going and saying they're not going to go and just throw him out there and throw him under the bus like that. Yes, people hate him. Yes, people are going to be extremely disappointed in the fact that he probably will still survive, even though we most likely all want him dead. And trust me, I know I want the character dead. I never really cared for John Walker's character, except for how it was in the comics, and how he's being portrayed is kind of close to it, but not as good. But in all honesty, I do see them trying to go and be like, okay, well, I know the fans hate him, but we all know the fans hate him, but we have to drag his character just a little bit more through the mud before we go and do anything else. Which is why he's going and being the way that he is in the show. All this that I was talking about was all direct back to this. Meaning, I know you do want him to basically die. I know half the world wants him to basically die because how shitty of a character he is and how shitty a person he is.
Okay, look, I understand as a comic reader, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Wyatt Russell, he's a great actor, I love how good he can portray an asshole. John Walker is an asshole. I'm saying that specifically from my grandmother's point of view, as well as mine. Those were my grandmother's exact words. John Walker is an asshole. Everything that I've seen in the show leads me to believe he's gonna be killed off later on in the show. Granted, I understand your ideas for him in the future. If he does end up showing up in Secret Invasion, Secret Wars, if they ever do that, great. And all the power to him and Wyatt Russell, giving him everything that he deserves. But because I personally have not heard anything regarding Wyatt Russell being any future Marvel Cinematic Universe projects, and stuff like that, I can't for sure say that he's going to be in future projects. I have hope for him. I have hope for Wyatt Russell because he's a great actor and I believe that he deserves to have the role as long as he can. I don't believe he's gonna make it out of the season alive. That is my personal belief. It's not biased towards his character. I just feel like the way that the show is portraying him and portraying events, he's probably if he doesn't make it out alive or he just I guess the more plausible way would be he just loses everything. And granted, at the moment, he definitely deserves to lose everything. But
I want to say another quick thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Here's another possible thing that could happen. For all we know, you could be right with him losing everything. Well, what we also could know is the raft is still a thing. They haven't had it get destroyed or anything. For all we know,
as far as we know, yeah.
Towards the end, for all we know, towards the end of this thing, he probably could pull some stupid BS that would get him locked up in the raft, as well as any other teammates that are with him, thus could keep them there, which could allow for, a possible future story to where, somehow there's a security breach, thus allowing his team to come back out in a future story and allowing them to have like
a Dark Avengers, maybe even a Thunderbolts movie in the future.
That's where I'm That's what I'm looking towards, more big picture wise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can kind of see where that's going. Yeah. Again, like I said, I really hope they don't kill the character off, because I mean the character, the way the character is vulnerable in a way that not many people are shown in the show. I've looked at him and immediately thought, okay, this guy definitely suffers from PTSD, but he's only doing it because, hey, if he's going around saving people, if he's following orders, he's doing his job as a soldier. It's just another wedge driven in between him and Steve Rogers, Captain America. And the way I see it is like, you have to draw comparisons between Steve Rogers and John Walker, because Steve Rogers, the epitome of America in the 1940s, coming over to help as many people and to be a symbol for hope for the world, which was essentially what America was in the early 1900s. Moving on to now, John Walker is this dark and militaristic individual who's been through some shit and is about 5 minutes away from being completely corrupted by Zemo, by the power broker, if the power broker shows up. He's not gonna, if he doesn't survive, if he survives the season, he's not gonna survive as a hero. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. If he survives the season, he's not gonna be. He's the embodiment of that phrase from The Dark Knight. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Especially with some of the actions he's taken in the last few episodes. He does not seem like, he doesn't seem trustworthy. He doesn't seem like he's all there, up there. He definitely needs therapy, which is what I'm saying for every single hero so far. It's like everyone deserves therapy. I mean, Bucky does, Sam does, Wanda definitely does. But yeah, it's basically what's been going on all over the place. Again, if he ends up in a Raft, Thunderbolts movie coming out, who knows? Because, I mean, there's so many projects that Kevin Feige hasn't announced yet. We only know about all the shows that are coming this year and going into next year. We don't know what's coming out in 2023, 2024, and beyond. Because we know everything from what's happening now, or what's happening next with Loki, all the way up to Moon Knight, which is a series I can't wait for, but we'll get to that whenever we know more. So, anyways,
best that it could be, in my opinion. Because Moon Knight as a character is extremely complex.
We'll have to see. Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor, and I feel like he's a really good pick for the role. We'll have to see what he does with Mark Spector, and we'll have to see how that goes in future events. Anyways, we have about 30 minutes left. We've talked 45 minutes about the MCU. Now I want to transition to another Disney property, Star Wars. Unfortunately, Dad is apparently gone at the moment. His phone probably died or some shit. He didn't exactly let us know anything like that. He hasn't said anything about anything coming out or what's going on Facebook or anything. So the rest of the podcast is probably going to be just me and Tony talking about this. But the future of Star Wars as a whole. Both me and Tony have major opinions regarding the past of Star Wars and the future of Star Wars. Especially with some of the new details that have come out in the last week. For example, last few weeks, for example, we got the Clone Wars sequel series, The Bad Batch, which features some of the